Alright guys, this one's going to be doing a review today, this one's going to be doing a review for The Last of Us, this one's going to be doing a predictions video for the second episode of The Last of Us Season 2. We just did our review for the very first episode of The Last of Us, which was Season 2, Episode 1. I was kind of into it. I wasn't too big into it. I think you guys kind of know my problem, as I've mentioned in many videos before. I'm not connecting with Bella Ramsey's Ellie. I just am not. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It just isn't my casting. It isn't for me. And I expected her to be better after this massive time skip, and I got to admit, it wasn't working for me. And this is coming from somebody that truly is a massive fan of Ellie from the video game. I love her character so much. I just am not feeling that performance. I'm not feeling that role, that adaptation. It's not working. Pedro, as I've mentioned many times, Pedro's good. Pedro is really good. Bella Ramsey, it isn't doing it for me. And this episode was solely focused on her. And that was kind of the main problem for me of that episode. I just didn't think that Ellie worked. I found it hard to believe that everybody's sitting here saying, oh my god, Ellie knows everything. Meanwhile, she rushes into a building and almost gets killed by a clicker like an idiot. But yet they look up to her. Like, it wasn't working at all. It wasn't believable for me. But like I said, there were things I liked. There were definitely things I enjoyed. I liked seeing the stalkers, the stalker, and the clicker. I enjoyed seeing, obviously the opening with Abby. I like how they're pre-establishing her hatred for Joel. I think that's an interesting touch. I think that's pretty cool. But if you're not talking about that, I wasn't really vibing with this episode at all. I really wasn't. The therapy stuff wasn't working for me. I don't know. It just wasn't it wasn't going in the direction that I felt like a premiere should have. Especially for a short season like 7 episodes, I really think they could have picked up the pace a little bit more in an hour-long episode. You know what I mean? But I know some people were saying, Dan, you're being too critical about the episode. You're being too much about it. Listen, one thing you're always going to get with me is the truth. I'm always going to tell you what I think, and I thought this was a boring premiere. I'm sorry. You can agree or disagree, but you're always going to get the truth with me, and I'm not going to lie to your face just to please everybody. You know what I mean? That's not how I work, I thought that The Last of Us Season 2, Episode 1 was pretty boring. I'm not going to lie. There were things to like, but I was pretty bored. So that's kind of the way it's gone for me. But let's talk about future things now. Let's talk about going forward, because I am very hopeful for the rest of this season, especially with this trailer. I think this trailer looks pretty damn tight. I'm not gonna lie. Episode 2 in particular, I think we're going to be getting the massive attack with the Horde at Jackson, which is going to be crazy. Now, quick disclaimer, I am going to go into some game spoilers in this, alright? So if you haven't played the game, maybe click off this video. Actually, definitely click off this video, because I can contain the spoilers in the review, but I definitely cannot contain the spoilers in prediction videos. So have that be known. I'm going to be spoiling the game going forward in this video. So what I can tell from this I think is going to be the episode, people. I think this is going to be the one. Jackson gets attacked, and we're going to see a lot of battles and stuff. Ellie and Joel are probably going to run into Abby for the very first time, and I think we're going to see Joel save Abby, as we saw in the game. My curiosity is, how far are they going to get into this? Because this is apparently another hour-long episode. Are we going to see the death of Joel in this episode? Are we going to see Abby kill Joel? I feel like we almost have to, because we're only 7 episodes of a second season here. I don't see how you could push this off until episode 3. I just don't see how you can do that. I have to admit, I'm honestly shocked we didn't progress the plot more in the first episode and got to this quicker. You know what I mean? But we get to keep Pedro for another episode, at least in the current timeline. In the overarching season, he's going to be all over it, because obviously we're going to have flashbacks. We're going to have, all that stuff going on, which we can kind of see in this next on promo for this season. It does appear like we're going to be seeing the flashbacks, just like the game, after the death of Joel and all that, fun stuff. Now, my curiosity is, this episode is going to be probably the death of Joel, probably the attack on Jackson. Episode 3 will probably be, them, aftermath of Joel's death, stuff like that. Ellie setting out to go on the road. And then 4, 5, 6, and 7 are probably going to be the beginning of that journey to take out Abby and to get revenge on what she did, and, kind of adapting it from there. So, yeah, the season is definitely a lot slower than I thought it would move. I gotta be honest. I kind of thought that by the end of the premiere, we would get Joel's death and that we would be full speed ahead onto what this season's about. They're choosing to go a slower path with it. That's probably why they say that they're going to be able to do 4 seasons with The Last of Us TV show, even without a third game, because clearly they are slowing the plot down. You know, in comparison to the game, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I just wish that they included more in that premiere. But I will say, I'm very curious to see how this goes, because in the trailer, we can see a few things. We see, obviously, the Seraphites are going to be involved. We're going to be seeing a lot of, you know, things from this game that I'm very curious to see how they adapt. The red light, obviously, from the game, that's something I think is going to be really exciting. There's a lot of shootouts going on. There's a lot of battles. There's a lot of things happening, mixed in with flashback timelines with, you know, Joel, you know, with Ellie, of course, during the 5-year time skip. So we're going to kind of be going back and forth here, and we're going to be kind of seeing where this all kind of ends up. I'm really not sure where they're going to go with this. Like, are we going to get a solo Abby-focused episode this season? Are we going to get a full-on Abby bottle episode with such a short episode count? I am genuinely curious to see if they're going to do that, or if they're going to show Belly and, you know, show Abby, and they're going to alternate their perspectives. Like, if we're going to go back and forth with their, you know, perspectives or something, you know. I don't know. I feel like we will have an episode coming up that's very Abby focused, but I don't know what episode that necessarily will be. All I know is that these episodes look very intense. They look very crazy. I'm predicting Joel dead by the end of episode 2. I feel like you kind of have to at this point. But, I mean, if they push that in episode 3, I'm going to start getting a little impatient at that point, but I mean, it is what it is. You know, if we get, you know, Joel's death in episode 3, then we get it in episode 3. I guess this season's just not adapting as fast as I thought it would. But again, there's still 6 episodes, time to tell the story, and I'm curious to see how things are executed overall. I definitely get the feeling, you can kind of just tell when you watch, you know, the premiere of a season. I don't think this is going to be as good as the first season. I definitely don't. But at the same time, they could prove me wrong. Maybe these next 6 episodes are really damn good. They look good, so I'm curious to see how they're going to execute everything. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts. Post your comments down below. I'm definitely very curious to see how episode 2 plays out. I do hope I enjoy it more than the first episode. Fingers crossed on that one. Yeah, that's kind of my overall thoughts going forward with episode 2. Predictions, minor thoughts, stuff like that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and what are you the most excited to see in this season of The Last of Us? So, if you're new to the channel, guys, and you enjoy videos like this, make sure to click subscribe button to miss any of the videos. Make sure to follow me on DanceReviews Official on Instagram, guys. And, of course, I'll see you guys really soon for more videos for The Last of Us. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and peace out.
Born in the dark alleys, city of concrete. Dan's reviews blowing up, never taste defeat. Walking Dead dissected every plot twist. Beat world gone mad, TV junkies hit a treat. Typing up scripts, marathon through the night. His opinions hit harder than a street fight scene. Every episode, brain sharper than a knife. He's the beacon of critique, shedding TV light.